Well, hi there, and welcome to Bella's Vistas. Today I thought I'd like to take you on a little tour through my Leica M system. This is my first Leica I ever bought, the M4. I bought this in about 1969. I think it's a 67 model, something around there, 1967 Leica. I'm not sure when the M4 first came out. Nice thing about this one is the frame of the finder is exactly the same as 35 millimeters, so you don't need an additional finder when you're working with this camera. You focus, compose, and shoot. It's that simple. And with the light meter that I put on here, when you push the frame selector in there, that gives you the 90 millimeter frame, which is about the same as a light meter. So you look through there, you've got a center weighted meter reading. Your shutter speed is already selected here by this dial, and you just look on the red scale here, so you pick the red number, get your f-stop, set your f-stop, and away you go. It's not as fast as auto exposure we've got these days, but works very well. And you have your focusing here. You can set for hyperfocal distance. You know how much depth of field approximately you're going to have. Works very well. So this is like well, it's 35 millimeter, of course. This is a 35 millimeter 1.4 Summilux lens. Very, very nice lens. It's very fast for a 35 wide angle. And if I put on probably my favorite Leica lens that I have is this one right here. This is the Noctilux, a 50 millimeter 1.0 lens. Put that on. If you're steady, you can shoot. I can shoot at a 15th of a second at F1.0. Here's the shot that I did. That's a Cibachrome print. This is a Cibachrome print of a yacht. I was on a similar yacht shooting right across the water at it. 15th of a second, 1.0. Just put my feet shoulder width apart, held my breath, and got my shot. And it turned out absolutely fine. I don't think any other system, well, back then, would let you shoot a 15th of a second handheld and come up with a result like that. This one uses an external clip-on type meter. Through the lens metering, this is the M6. This is through the lens metering. You can see the white spot on the focal curtain there, on the white spot on the focal plane shutter there. That's where you get your light reading. So once again, you've got a center spot reading, and you just adjust your exposure and then compose, focus, and shoot. It's that simple. It's a nice quiet camera like this. It's great for street photography outdoors at night, something like that. That's when the Noctilux would really come into its own on this camera. For using the M6. The M6 with the Noctilux. Now this is a 1.0 Noctilux. The new Noctilux is 0.95, which is a tiny little bit faster. But 1.0 is not to be sneezed at, that's for sure. That's twice as fast as a 1.4 lens. Works very well. Now the other nice thing about the M6 is if you want to use the 21 millimeter, with the 21 you have to use an external viewfinder. That clips on here. And then, let me see, here's the lens. There's the 21 millimeter. All this stuff folds away and packs right up into my little camera bag too. You wouldn't believe it, but it does. There you go. Now you've still got light meter, and you've got focusing, and you have the 21. So you can just look through here, compose, look through here, focus, go back, compose again, shoot. And it works fairly fast. And the 21 is quite a nice lens. If you're using the 21 on the M4, now you got a little bit of a problem really, because you have to take the light meter off. It's not that hard to take it off, but it has to come off. Then you have to reset your shutter speed to where you want to be, say maybe a 30th or a 60th of a second, and then you put the finder on. You're all set to run and gun. The only thing is you don't have a meter. So what I would do then is I'd either use a spot meter like this, have that in my coat pocket, get a meter reading, or use the incident meter right here and take a light falling on the subject and get my meter reading like that. And that's how I would set up. So basically that's kind of my system. Now I've got lenses here for the M. I've got the longest I have is the 135, and the 135 I have is the bug eye finder one, so that actually helps with focusing, because it's like putting a little binoculars onto your rangefinder, you see, and you focus like this still, you focus it up, and when you're in focus you don't have to use another auxiliary finder or anything, because you can see right in the middle, it shows you your frame and you get your shot. Now what about image stabilization? Well, yeah, we had image stabilization back in the day. Here it is right here. You can use this on the roof of your car, you can use it on a table somewhere in a bar or something, or if there's nothing like that available, and I've done this many times, I would use this camera, more likely with, say, the 50mm. If I was shooting like musicians on stage or something like that, I would use this on my chest and get my focus, and you're quite stable. You know, you really are. It really stabilizes things. Keeps you mindful too that you got to stay steady to get your focus and to maintain sharpness. The big problem you have is that the people actually moving is more of a problem than you moving the camera. Basically that's the M system. The M4 was the first one that I had. I really enjoyed that camera a lot. So then I got the M6. I mean, you're all set with the M4 and the M6. There's not too much you can't do. Back in the day, everybody said with the Leica press photographer's kit was the 35mm and the 90mm. So you keep the 90mm in your pocket in reserve, and you run around and you're shooting with the 35. Now in a press photography scenario thing, I would have a 35mm on the camera, and I would carry the 50, put this adapter ring on there, you put that on there, take the 90. Now you've got a 35 on the camera, you got your meter there, you got a 50 and a 90 right there, and you won't have to change the finders. The only time you have to change the finder is when you're using the wide angle lens. Now if you're out and you're taking nature shots and you want to use a polarizer, this is the way you manage that. The Leica polarizer is very special. It fits on the 35mm lens like that, which mostly that's the lens you're going to want to polarize for a nature scene. You just swing the polarizer out, adjust it until you've got the effect that you want, and you swing it back into place and you're ready to shoot. That's an amazing polarizer. I got that many years ago. So anyway, that's my Leica M system. If you got any questions, anything you want to know, just drop me a message and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for visiting.